You know what time it is. You know what sound that means, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get things on the road for Marvel Rivals. Welcome, everybody. My name is Bryson Little, also known as the AK Coda, and I'm going to be your host, your streamer, your caster today for the Marvel Rivals games of UAA Esports versus NMT Miners, New Mexico Tech. And let's just get straight into the match and the bans, the pick and ban phase. If you guys are brand new to competitive Marvel Rivals, or if you've never been up onto that diamond level, if I remember correctly, of the rank system, then this is exactly what the pick and ban system looks like. Any Call of Duty players in chat know what Black Ops 3 looked like, very similar to this, where you pick a player to ban on either side that will never see rest of the game, and then you can save a character that will not get banned for the rest of the banning phase. So ultimately 6 players on both sides will be banned, where 4 of them will be saved. Doctor Strange looking like it's going to be banned from the side of NMT Miners, and Wolverine is going to be chosen for UAA Green. Oh, doesn't look like a save came through. That's quite unfortunate. We have no clue what happened there. We're about to jump into the live side of things, so don't worry about that. But we'll get everything on the road very soon. Looks like Magneto is going to be saved from the side of UAA, as we are a very tank-heavy team, so it's exciting to see that we have that on lock at least. But it looks like Namor is going to be the one that is banned. Very interesting. It doesn't look like NMT actually saved a character. I believe that I don't know exactly the rules on that, but it's quite unfortunate that they were unable to save one of their own characters. But it looks like Groot is going to be taken away as well. So those are 2 tanks that are out of the picture, which definitely favors for our support backline. We've been having a little bit of trouble in trying to figure out just certain specific team comms that go into our best favor. So no supports being banned is definitely a highlight. And Luna Snow is going to be the one that stays online. Let's see what UAA picks for the save, and then going into the ban phase as well. I've been quite out of the Marvel Rival scene, but I'm definitely super excited to see exactly how it comes back and exactly what the team metas are. Let's go here and let's just straight up turn down the music volume, because holy, that is loud. And so is my voice, and I want my voice to be the loudest. So going up in here, it looks like Ashes and Flames is going to be the one to lead the charge, saving the buffer version of Invisible Woman. I'm blanking on her name. I'm not the most familiar when it comes to Marvel characters, but I did play the game for quite a bit until Invisible Woman came out.
Pick
so
your hero or
looks
villain.
like,
I'm
ooh.
not judging.
Looks like Black Panther band comes out of the woodworks. That one's actually a little bit of a snipe, given that Demon King is a extremely strong Black Panther. Subbing in today, actually, talk about Demon King, will be himself, as Etho is unable to make the first game, but we should be able to see him joining back up in the second round. This is a best of 5 series, as you can see, first to 3 on both sides. So, or is that best of 7? Can I count correctly? Who knows? Okay, I think we're viewing live. We're gonna hide this, and we do not want to watch the enemy team.
30 seconds before you attack. Get ready.
Ooh, and that's very loud. In-game voice volume. All right, apologies for the lack of production there. We just got to fix a couple things. We can turn this one up a little bit. But all right, let's look at our team comp. It looks like we have... Oh. Got a little bit of a pause. But looks like we have just a 2-2-2 setup all the way across the board. With a Magneto and... I would love to know this character's name. I actually totally forgot. But we got Phoenix as well. I believe that's Phoenix, right? You guys are going to have to, like, inform me in the chat. I would love to hear. Oh, it looks like we had a little bit of a DC, so we're going to wait a little bit until that is fixed. But in terms of the DPS, I know this guy, Spider-Man, obviously. Everyone knows that's Spider-Man. And then Mantis as well, alongside, I believe that's Cloak and Dagger. So we'll see exactly how things pan out. But super excited to see this team comp. It's definitely a very interesting one. Not much. It's extremely brawly from the front end. I'm unfamiliar with Ian, our DPS. Actually, why don't we do that? We can kind of touch on the rest of the players for our team, and you can kind of have a meet the players type segment. So if you guys have been watching, you've been tapped into UAA Esports for a minute, Demon King and Lord are kind of like returning players. They have been predominantly for our Overwatch team for the past 2 semesters, but given that this is the first semester that Marvel Rivals is on board for the NECC competition, as you can see in the bottom left after credit 1, there you go, NECC. That is the competition that we're competing in, has graciously added Marvel Rivals. So these two have returned and also play on the Overwatch 2 team, which you will see on Friday. But we have 4 new players added onto our program's roster. We have Ian, who is going to be our DPS for the Marvel Rivals team. Very strong player. Definitely made a showcase in the tryouts that we hosted earlier on the year. Robot Simp was one of the strategists that came alongside our team very early on in the year, and extremely excited to see, as he has been extremely active within the lounge. He's one of our most active members, really practicing and honing his craft whenever things are off the game. Ashes and Flames was one of the many tanks that tried out, but he was one that came out on top. Very strong player. He also flexes towards strategist if we ever need it, or he kind of plays that flex role, whether he might be DPS every now and then. He kind of bounces back and forth with Lord, who's on DPS and tank as well. And then Low Taper Fade, also known as Dugnut, he was a last-minute sub, graciously giving his time to join the team, and he's super exciting. Definitely a underdog coming in, and he's also subbing in as well, but making a strong case for starting position, as he is extremely strong on support. So those are your 4 new players welcoming to the UAA Esports program, and we're definitely super excited to see them, as well as Lord and Demon King pretty much making their debut into the Marvel Rivals scene. So it's going to be very interesting to see. So let me actually... Oh. Okay. Sorry, I want to mess around. Oh. Okay, so don't press L. Alright, while we're waiting for this, it appears that 2 of them have actually lost power. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to a intermission, and we'll be right back. I'm going to figure out the spectating controls. But take a break, go get some water, go use the bathroom, and we'll catch you later. That's a best of 5. Okay, thank you everyone. I'm sorry, I literally I have the inability to count, unfortunately. So yeah, numbers was not my first language, so thank you so much for letting us know in chat. But let us know your favorite ultimate line. That's what we want to hear. All right, catch you guys later. Gentlemen, welcome back. We're ready to get things on the road. And I'm going to be quite honest. I never figured out how to change POVs. ZXCV. Nope, no, that just wasn't it. So, looks like we're going to be on Lord's POV for quite a bit of this game until we can figure out how to change POVs. If anyone in chat knows how to do that, I would greatly appreciate it. But Lord's POV is exactly who you want to see. It's going to be Magneto leading up the charge, has his charge on board, and it's going to be Demon King leading up the charge as well with the front end push. Pushes everyone off, but everyone's going to have to try to get to point one way or another. And it's going to be Emma Frost to block things off as they take the high ground. It's going to be NMT kind of taking that front point, but UAA is going to stake their claim on the side of hit point, leaving Magneto barely with any health remaining, and he's going to be the first blood down. That's going to be Typher down from the side of Emma Frost, but he's going to have to get back in time to help with his team. This Emma Frost as well pushed up a little bit too far, and that's going to be 2 tanks and a DPS straight for UAA Esports, and they're going to be absolutely clawing their way to get the rest of the remaining members of NMT down. Beautiful start from the side of UAA so far to entry onto this match and make a statement for UAA, as our Valorant team did last night, taking a 2-0 victory. Sorry for the spoilers. First point's going to be coming through right now, and I mean the lack of healing from the side of NMT is very apparent. I actually just realized, oh wait, no, they do have 2 supports with the Loki and the Luna, but it doesn't really look like it's doing too much healing towards their DPS or towards their tanks. Incredibly hard to keep up, as they do have the magic that they're just not able to heal correctly, so it's causing them a little bit of a disconnect here. Magneto is going to go in pretty far, gets the shield for himself to deal a lot more damage, and he has the ult online, and you do not want to fear Magneto if he's able to pull up this wall or pull up this magic ball and just absolutely crash it towards NMT here. Things are going to go through, and it's going to be Demon King absolutely going and making a tear on the side of UAA, just absolutely harassing the Psylocke, not able to find any sort of space. The dive from Demon King is definitely making a difference versus the dive of NMT with the Psylocke and the magic. Just hasn't been able to really replicate that same amount of success. And now this is when it gets to 99% overtime. All the ults are gonna start popping. There goes the Luna Snow ult, but here comes Magneto, slams it directly onto Luna Snow, but no damage actually is going to be done. No kills going to be found there, but 2 on the other side of UAA are able to take down the Loki and the Psylocke, and there follows up 2, and all that's left is Thor. But the gods of Asgard are not going to save him this time. And there we go. UAA taking the first map 1-0. Guys, I am so sorry that I cannot figure out how to fix these controls. Wait a minute. Here we go. Hold up. Oh my god, it's... Wait a minute. Hold on. Okay, I figured it out, but the thing is that it's function controls, and this keyboard does not have function controls. We might need to do a bird's eye view. I'm not gonna lie. This is highly unfortunate. I do not want to watch the other team right now. Alright, well, I'm gonna have to get a little creative here. Looks like we actually get to see this from the enemy perspective, actually. Demon King, you know, usually we watch it from our team's perspective, but look at the absolute terror and control that Demon King is making on the team. There was so much utility, so much pressure added on to Demon King to try to take out the Spider-Man, but he said, what pressure? And they pushed back the Thor, and I mean, these DPS are absolutely in a world of hurt. and they have absolutely zero clue how to deal with it. They just know that the Spider-Man is lurking behind them, know that he's trying to get into the back lines, but he just has absolutely all of them wrapped around his finger webs. Looks like NMT is going to be going towards the right side here, but they just know that this Spider-Man is just absolutely annoying from behind them, and because of that, the Punisher was unable to turn around and get the picks needed, and he's going to fall, and the rest of the UAA is going to push towards this front side. As you heard right there, Punisher is getting mad. He sees the Spider-Man in his sights, but is he really going to be able to take down Demon King? Nice freeze from the side of Luna Snow, but the rest of UA is absolutely stomping this team. Just wants to take this into the next map and hopefully come into this room and help me with these spectator controls. Oh my god, ladies and gentlemen, we figured it out. All I had to do was press Z. We're back with some better POVs this time around. It's going to be Ashes and Flames absolutely melting down this Thor. As the rest of the team is going to be pushing down, it's going to be Phoenix going crazy with a double kill and Demon King alongside getting a double kill of their own. Emma Frost just pulling in through the mind control. And it just isn't enough for NMT, and UAA is just staking their claim into this match too to take first map. And everything is just looking in favor of UAA here. Luna Snow is going to dance her way onto the point. They were able to touch for a little bit, but this Magneto ult is just in the pocket of Lord. He's going to bring that up, and you better fear Magneto. He actually blows himself up. Demon King from the back end. Let's get some Spider-Man POV here, as he's going to be going up on the right side. Luna Snow ult is still going to be active from the Loki, but Cloak and Dagger is just burning over and over. Still waiting for Lord to come back, but Demon King is able to deal some damage onto Lunar Snow. Robot Simba able to get the final touches. Still trying to heal the rest of the team. Ember Frost is going to be forced to back up, and UAA actually loses a fight here in the back realms, but for the time being, it's still going to allow them to be able to regroup. A lot of ultimates were used on both sides, but still in the old bank, it looks a little bit more healthy for the side of UAA going into this next fight, as Low Taper Fade has their Mantis ult up and coming. TP has come through on the top of the half. And they're ready to take this site with force. Spider-Man's going to look like he's going to be wanting to entry in, but taking a lot of damage here. It's going to be Demon King. Going to have to be forced back a little bit to heal. They're going to have to really push this Punisher off his high horse. Mantis ult is active. Just looking for a perfect angle. Probably farming some more ults before they can really just punch in and hit Q. Looking for that first pick is going to be Lord. Takes out the Punisher as well as the Lunar Snow. That's 2 picks down. DPS and the healer is extremely strong point to go off in on. Lack of heals is going to really hurt them as the Loki also falls. That's 2 remaining players left for the side of NMT. Make that 1, make that 0. And UAA brings it back to overtime with multiple ults to hold this down. And NMT has already played all the cards in their hand. And UAA will take that first map. Beautiful and well played from the side of our Marvel Rivals team. And let's get straight into map 2, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you there. Lord was the MVP, by the way. Let's get things back on the road, ladies and gentlemen. UAA Green versus NMT Miners, New Mexico Tech. If you just now joining in, UAA was able to strike first, take the series up 1-0, and now we're leading straight into Central Park Convergence for Map 2. Looks like we already had a roster swap. Demon King, like I said, was subbing in for Star Chicken, also known as Etho, and he's going to be back in the lineup now. So it's exciting to see exactly how this roster takes a turn into the kind of ideologies. Demon King has a extremely unique play style, so definitely looking to see exactly how the playstyle changes for this team, whether or not it's more divey, less divey, more hold back, a little bit more brawl. It's exciting to see, so we'll see exactly how they kind of tail into this as we go into the map bans. First one is going to be that Luna Snow. Definitely was a very strong point for the side of NMT Miners, so no surprise there of her going away first. Emma Frost being the one that goes away first for the side of NMT. Banning her out was also another strong pick for the side of UAA. So, I mean, these pick and bans here are pretty much going to kind of be the staple of, hey, we lost to that last time, let's ban it this time. So that's very very telling to what's going to happen. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a Phoenix, maybe a Magneto, or another Black Panther. Interesting. So they're really still sticking to this Black Panther ban, which is extremely fair. If Demon King had the ability to play Black Panther last round, I definitely believe that it would have been even more chaos than we saw last time around just with the Spider-Man. Another Wolverine ban comes through. Very interesting. I wonder if this is a ban towards Toasty Bread, as we see right here, as he is hovering the Wolverine, and I believe that is the hero logo. After playing the character a long time, I believe it's called Hero or Legacy or something like that. Magneto does get saved, so it looks like UAA do have their duo tanks up in pocket for them, Magneto and Doctor Strange, so definitely a good thing to see. Invisible Woman and Loki are going to be the main picks for the side of NMT here, and I'm wondering what these last bans are going to look like. Maybe another tank, a DPS. Yeah, it is going to be the DPS of Phoenix. Wow, interesting. So super interesting to see exactly the route that UA is going to take this time around. And what final ban that they could see here? I'm guessing, I don't know if they would ban probably another tank. If I'm guessing, I don't think their tanks. Yeah, their tanks didn't really. I was thinking Thor maybe, but I mean the Thor didn't really have too much of a difference. And I think honestly, if a team wants to play Thor, I think you kind of let them. I'm not too familiar with the current meta of Marvel Rivals at the moment, but ever since I've played, Thor was never too much of a problem in my eyes. Let's see here. It looks like Star Chicken's going to be on the Spider-Man. Dang, Etho, my bad. I think I underestimated your hero pool a little bit. I thought you were strictly a tank player. Let's see how all this goes out though. So we got a Spider-Man, Groot, Hela. Oh, we got triple DPS, a Moon Knight, followed up by a Mantis and Cloak and Dagger. So definitely going to be interesting. Up against the Hela, Loki, Doctor Strange, Venom, Invisible Woman, and Magic. So one side going the 2-2-2 comp, the other going triple. Oh, okay, never mind. All right, well, we saw Star Chicken. Unfortunately, we saw the glimpse of the possible Spider-Man play, but it was probably just to honor his good old friend Demon King. But unfortunately, he will be back on the Doctor Strange, reprising his main role, which makes a lot of sense. I mean, they did protect Doctor Strange, so it makes sense. I'm surprised that he's playing Groot, even though that they protected Magneto. But maybe it's a future strat that they want to go forth towards in the future. It looks like they are predicting a possible teleport portal. They are correct in this prediction, but they just have no clue where exactly it's coming from. I mean, at this point, you kind of have to assume that it's coming, given that are they having trouble placing the portal? What? Did they fail the portal or something? I'm confused on exactly what happened. I hope it wasn't a failed portal, but we're going to go into another tech pause. Hopefully, we can wait this out. If this goes for a little bit longer than needed, then we'll go straight into our intermission. But UAA definitely has the right read that a portal is going to be coming out soon. It's just a matter of where and when that actually happens. Looking at the rest of the team, that we have some really nice skins. Marvel Rivals known for its very popular skins, very questionable skins, but very popular towards the fan base. A lot of fan service. If any of you have a favorite skin, definitely drop it in the chat and let us know what your favorite skin is. All right, this pause might go a little bit longer than predicted. So it appears that NMT is actually having a lot of power outage issues. And this could be another one that they had. So let me see. I actually can't tell. So we're just going to go straight into intermission. It might only be a couple seconds, but we'll be right back. Alright everybody, that was the fastest I've ever seen somebody get their power back online and get back home. It looks like NMT Miners really wanted to play this match, so now they're going to be playing from their own facilities at home. So let's get straight into the match. We previously saw that there possibly could be a teleporting play going on, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case this time around. They're just going to be pushing straight into the main side of things. Doesn't look like any character swaps happened as well since the last time you have all seen the play. But it looks like a very good wall from the side of Lord's going to come through and try to deflect the magic, but she's going to be able to get out of dodge fairly quickly. Venom, however, is going to be the next one in line, catching a lot of damage from the side of Hella. And Ashes and Flames is going to drop the Moon Knight from above, taking a lot of damage. No one's shooting the Onks. And that's going to cause NMT to force back. And Star Chicken's going to just be in their spawn, touching the doors. We'd love to see it each match. You got to at least touch the doors once. And UAA is going to do just that. Really good hold. And that's going to be the first 2 minutes down. Great Onk placements from the side of Ashes and Flames. Really holding down the fort. Keeping things handy. Haven't pressed the scoreboard in a little bit. But if you want to get some stats down, here you go. The ace being Ashes and Flames. Doing a great job. Let's get some support action here. Mantis from Low Taper Fave doing a great job. Eye of Agamotto is going to come through. That's actually 5 stunned. Support ults aren't going to be able to be used either. Robot Sim's going to pop his, but Hella, the only one really in line to try to do anything to save the day. As she does have her ult online, she could stall for a little bit longer on the side of the point before UAA all comes through. The support ult is going to be keeping her alive for the most part, and Hella's just going to stay alive up top to keep that health going. But once her ult runs out, it's just enough for Lord to come through with his Groot ult. He's able to get one, followed up with the next, and Ashes and Flames drops the Moon Knight, the clouds from above to also stall a little bit longer for UAA, and they're able to halt a crazy push from the side of NMT, and they're not even able to get a single point for this push. Lord just catches a huge stray onto the side of Nam there. That's going to be the enemy Hella down up until the respawn time goes through. And let's get some Ian perspective here, as he's going to be dealing a lot of damage towards the remaining members. Hella, last time I played, was an incredibly strong character. And it looks like on a hit scan map like this, she's definitely no DPS to scoff at. Local is going to come through. As Hella's looking to get away, the Invisible Woman ult is also going to allow them to get remaining onto this site. As they're going to be entering, Hella's going to be down, and a bunch of other members of UAA are going to fall, unfortunately. And although that UAA or Ashes and Flames is able to pop the Moon Knight ult, Star Chicken's going to be all alone in his own shield, and it's just not going to be enough. This looks like NMT's wishes have finally been granted, as they're really looking to try to take this site. Robot Sim tries to slow it down for the team. UA really doesn't want this to happen, but they honestly just have to give it up. Ian almost dies, but oh my gosh, it almost looked like Lord wanted him to die. Almost walled him out of the site. But now that NMT is able to garner their way and take a lot of space towards UAA, the tanks are just going to have to hold their ground here and try to find any picks they can. Venom's going to get out of dodge, and if we're able to kill these clones and just overall unmask the identity of the Loki, then we should be able to do a lot more damage than previously. Venom has been doing a great job of just diving in, and that's going to be another Eye of Agamotto onto 4 of our members, taking down 3 of them, and Lord to follow it up as well. That is a ace from the side of NMT, and they've really come back to life now after coming back with their new setups at home. So things could get definitely extremely dicey here in the latter half of this game now. Things can be just intensely a lot different when it comes to playing from your own home. Just the comfort of your bedroom makes things a lot better. Groot ult is going to come through, and that allows for the members of UA to do a hefty ton of damage, but no members of NMT are going to be falling here. Invisible Woman ult is there to save most of the damage dealt, And a lot of the remaining members of UAA, after Low Taper Fade falls, are going to be extremely lit here, and they're going to be able to fall as well. 2 players from the side of Ashes and Flames are able to take out the kills, and that's going to be him and Lord trying to fight for their lives. Onk's going to be on the back end to try to deal with this Venom, but is not able to do so. 1v1 on point. It's going to be Venom and the Moon Knight, but the Low Taper Fade and Robotic Simp are able to come back and help as much as possible. They're able to hold before the first point gets capped. Holding on for dear life is UAA here with only 30 seconds remaining. This could be a very good hold and a very good spot to do so. This choke is extremely hard to push through from the side of NMT. Great positioning from the side of Star Chicken, and I think they read the fact that he has this Agamotto that they want to use here. It's going to be Ian already popping his hella ult that he's going to be able to fall, unfortunately. Star Chicken comes in from the back lines. He's looking to pop his Eye of Agamotto. Still looking, pops it, finally able to go through, but not much damage from the side of UAA. Is able to clean up any of the kills possible. No more ults from the side of UAA until Robotic Simp pops his ult. Hella's going to be from above alongside the Magic and Venom ult as well. Qs are all popping from the side. X's and Qs are all popping from the side of NMT, and they're able to absolutely swarm this point. And unfortunately for UAA, that's going to be the first point checked off for NMT. Or the second point, rather, given the first point as well. And this is by no means a bad hold from the side of UAA. They're able to chunk down the time all the way to overtime. So definitely extremely strong for them. As long as they get the heals here, then this could be a really strong advancement for the rest of their match. Multiple ults are building up for the side of UAA, as NMT really used like a ton of them in that last endeavor. This choke right here looks great for Ashes and Flames, as he gets the first pick onto that Doctor Strange huge pick, and he still has his ult to deal any more damage on this really big choke here. But they got to deal with the Magic and the Venom in the backline. It's going to be Robot Simp falling, but Ian's able to get the trade onto the Magic. Pushing forward now, looking for any more kills with the Onyx. That's going to deal a lot of damage, pushing them farther back into the choke. And with only 20 seconds remaining and very little ultimates left, Star Chicken and Ian are just dealing a ton of damage, getting the kills needed to push them further back. Ashes and Flames sitting with 20-6. Absolutely putting the kills on his team's back. And I mean, with the amount of onks and damage that the rest of your team is doing, it is extremely easy for them to follow through with that. Eye of Agamotto comes through, but this time around it's not able to find the same success that they did previously. They're going to let the invisible woman ult go through before Star Chicken's Eye of Agamotto goes through. They're able to get the first pick onto the Doctor Strange, and they're going to be followed with the follow through as the Venom ult comes through, and the Invisible Woman ult is going to fall after the Loki ult. They're able to kill the Loki, and their 2 more picks are going to go down, but the Star Chicken ult is going to be useless as the rest of them fall down. Ian, however, is able to stall for the most part before the enemy Hela in her ult is going to be not able to touch. That's what we call in the Overwatch world a C9, ladies and gentlemen. Well, for the time being, definitely an interesting defense for the most part, but they were able to at least stop it in a favorable spot. But that choke is definitely extremely challenging to push through, so as long as UAA is able to build some ults up of their own, I could definitely see this being a very strong attack for them. And here we go. We got some team ups activated for the side of UAA. We got the Thing. Here's the Thing. And then also followed up by Johnny Storm, Hella Moon Knight, Adam Warlock, and Cloak and Dagger. So looks like a 1 Vanguard comp followed up by a 2-2-2 split from the side of NMT. Nothing really changing there. I would love to see if this is the actual comp that they're going to stick with. It looks like Ashes and Flames is definitely a Emma Stone player, so it doesn't look like he has any other picks that he might use in his pocket. So it'd be very definitely interesting. I wonder if they're going to fly with each other. the thing, and yep, here we go. I love this. I love this team up so much. They're gonna fly to the bottom point here, and instead of portaling onto the point, there's gonna be the thing right into the side of the remaining members. That's gonna be the first one down. They're gonna start taking off with a Invisible Woman, but Lord is gonna fall, unfortunately. But the Loki is almost dead as well. The rest of the UAA has to get into the thing, and they have to help him out. Loki is extremely low, and they have to be able to kill all the remaining of the clones, and they're able to do just that. That's all the supports down for the side of NMT, and they're just gonna be taking down the rest of the remaining members as all of them are one. What a beautiful attack from the side of UAA, and a beautiful start to start things off and take the first tick of this point. Etho just doing the things. Just doing things, you know? And has to get through onto the point. There's going to be one more attack from the side of NMT to try and stall for the most point, but Lord's going to be able to take out the enemy Hela. He's able to follow it up with the next onto the Magic, so that's 2 DPS down. They're looking to take the rest of the Vanguards and supports with them. And despite all their hard work, it was all for naught. Lord's going to go through the teleporter. He has no care in the world as he's able to take down the Invisible Woman, and he's going to fight 1v1 against the God of Asgard. But it doesn't matter. He's going to fall. But UAA is still pushing that point. Beautiful take, and a lot faster than NMT did. Looks like we have a character swap onto the Ultron Robot Simp. So now we get into the first hard choke to really push through. 1-for-1 trade comes through, but Lord's going to take out the Loki of all people, and Star Chicken Etho is just absolutely wreaking havoc with the thing here. After popping the ult, he's able to get 2 picks of his own, pushing for this Thor, just absolutely punching his way through these choke points. And the rest of UAA are able to push the Lion through almost to this checkpoint, and there's the first point. UAA is absolutely storming, and they got 5 minutes and 40 seconds on the clock to match NMT's previous round. God of Thunder goes down. That's going to take out Low Taper Fade. He does have his ult, and he's going to get that revive on point, but Star Chicken and Etho and Lord are just not able to live for the time being. They pushed up a little bit too far as the remaining supports were trying to revive for the most part, but despite any of this, they still got that checkpoint down, and they're going to spawn extremely close here. So any sort of ults that NMT used here or any sort of utility that they kind of exhaust is going to be all for naught, really. It's definitely extremely difficult for Etho here, being the solo Vanguard, given the fact that, you know, he is the main damage resolver when it comes to these players. And oh, we got another flight. Another fight and flight from our duo here, and they're gonna get right onto the point and fly directly into the remaining members of NMT. And Lord's looking to pop his ult, and he's going to just hold it for the time being as Etho does fall, unfortunately, but they're able to still do a ton of damage to try and pick off any of these remaining members. The healers from UAA are just absolutely going crazy right now, keeping the remaining team alive, but as Lord falls, unfortunately, Robotic Sim is able to at least get one, and they're still holding on for the time being, waiting for Etho to come back, and that's the reinforcements up in line. Etho just dealing a ton of damage and taking a ton of damage. Being that only Vanguard, he's just an absolute sponge to bullets, sponge to any sort of damage, and he has his ult. He's gonna pop it, and that's gonna be the ult coming through. That's gonna stun the rest of the remaining members, and that's gonna be a ton of damage onto the supports, but they're gonna be able to come through, and the Invisible Woman ult is gonna come through as well. Lord unfortunately falling before popping his ult, and that's a ton of damage onto UAA as they're gonna be forced to back away and hold that line just a little bit longer. Ult will come through, and that's 3 revives for the side of UAA. Definitely needed there, as still 33 minutes remaining, but still the checkpoint is in their sights. I know Lord is just waiting to pop that ult, and there it comes. He gets one, still looking for the Invisible Woman. He's able to get the next, and he's able to go straight into this Loki ult. And he's just absolutely looking to wreak more havoc. UAA is looking with only 3 meters remaining to push this point even further. Moon Knight could elect to use the ult here. This looks absolutely massive as it is just right onto the bridge there. And they have a ton of damage dealt to do so, and they're just going to push it without using it, saving the ult for the next game. That's going to be UAA taking map 2. With a scoreline of 3-2, despite all the technical difficulties and delays, we still come out on top. And Lord, whether he's a Vanguard, whether he's a DPS, you'll find him on the MVP screen. We'll see you in map 3. Back, ladies and gentlemen, to map number 3. If you're just now joining in, UAA has stormed very strong, taking the first 2 maps 2-0 in a very strong fashion. It was extremely funny to see last time we got to saw the Thing and Lord teaming up with the Johnny Storm, and it was definitely a lot of very fun strats to see. So it's definitely exciting to see if now we go on to the convoy map. If anyone knows how to pronounce that, I would love to hear it. Yggdrasil Path. As it looks like the bans for UAA are going to be a little bit different with the Venom this time around, but Johnny Storm does get banned, so extremely heartbreaking for the side of UAA, as Johnny Storm is a favorite. Invisible Woman. I love that ban. I love that ban. Invisible Woman definitely has been one of the stronger supports for the side of NMT. I also like the protection onto Phoenix as well. Looks like we have quite a bit of saves here. Silex is going to get saved. I would assume that Emma Frost or Emma Stone is going to be the one that also gets banned. However, because, yeah, there she goes. Emma is definitely a very strong character for our team as a whole. I'm surprised that she wasn't saved, actually, but I think they like Etho and Lord being the main 2 tanks. But banning Loki and Invisible Woman is extremely strong. I really like the bans going for UAA. Definitely some strong ones as well for NMT, picking out the Johnny Storm and Emma. But let's see what kind of comp that UAA is able to cook up here. All right, let's get things on the road, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to map number 3 in a 2-0 series for UAA Green up against NMT Miners. At match and series point, looking to take this series in a swift 3-0 to start UAA undefeated on the season, as our Valorant team took a 2-0 win earlier. Let's see how things go, ladies and gentlemen. Starting map 3, Convoy. Looking at our comp, we got a Penny, Magneto, Moon Knight, Cloak and Dagger, Phoenix, and an Adam Warlock. So it's definitely going to be a little bit interesting here to see how things pan out. Push is going to come through. High ground is going to be taken by the Penny of Etho. A lot of heals are going to have to come through, and it looks like this time around they're going to have that Psylocke still diving in the back lines, and it's going to be really hard for UA to really find a footing here, as they're really forced to push back. Moon Knight is going to swap off to the Squirrel Girl, as this is the first time we see her in today's match. Rest of the remaining members are going to be pushing down, and Etho's going to have to be forced to give up the point as the convoy pushes farther past his line of sight. Ult comes through from the side of Phoenix on the side of NMT, and unfortunately, that's going to take down 2 of our members. Low Taper Fade is going to have these Resurrection online. But even if he uses it, he's just unfortunately going to die swiftly after. NMT looking a lot different this time around. And this could definitely be a very scary match for UA if they're not able to find their footing early on. Early swaps came through, like I said, with the Squirrel Girl of Ashes and Flames, but Ether reprising his role back on the Doctor Strange. Looks like they need more shields up against a very poke-heavy comp. When you got Phoenix, Magneto, Jeff, Luna, and Psylocke. So the extra shields would definitely help. I like the range from the Squirrel Girl that Squirrel Girl offers, but when you have 2 of these players just absolutely diving, especially with that Thor ult that gets utilized. A lot of UAA members are extremely low, but the heals are keeping them alive for the time being. But the Psylocke ult is just going to clean them up, and that's a ace for NMT Miners. And this could definitely just be their map. Nice portal is going to come through to stall the point for the side of UAA. Able to at least hold for the time being. Fear Magneto is going to come through, but it's going to just get absolutely eaten. Jeff Ult comes through, and that's going to eat the rest of them as well. And they're looking to try to get themselves off a point. It doesn't look like he's able to take them strictly off a map, but it's actually only Lord that actually gets eaten here. So luckily, not much damage is going to be dealt. It's going to be Squirrel Girl ult that comes through. It's going to be able to take out Luna as well as Jeff and Magneto. Huge value from the side of Ashes and Flames here. But they're going to have to try to keep Lord alive if they want a chance at another fight. 3 minutes and 30 seconds remaining. And although they're extremely close to the front of this point, still forcing them to utilize any utility or any ults to really push this last meter through would definitely make the difference, even if it's just 30 more seconds that they get to hold here. A lot of damage forcing UAA to fall back. They have both support ults online and a Phoenix ult, so definitely could go through. And wow, Etho just unfortunately just gets dove from the Thor. Phoenix ult is going to come through from the side of Ian. He's able to take down one. That's going to be a 2-for-1 trade. Thor's going to come through, and they're able to deal a lot of damage onto him. If they're able to finish this player off, then that's another 30 seconds waiting for Etho to come back, and that's another good hold. Minute down from the side of UAA, and things are starting to look up. Unfortunately, though, hopefully they're counting ults because NMT has a lot in their pocket right now, and if any of them press X, it's definitely going to look a little bit shaky for them. Ian caught off guard, just on a little bit of a unfortunate situation there. Luna ult is going to come through, and it's going to be Low Taper Fade that comes through with his ult to respawn the rest of his remaining team. It's going to be Lord popping with the Magneto ult. Is not able to get any sort of picks possible, and he's going to fall, unfortunately. Robotic Simp is able to pop the cloak and dagger ult to keep the team alive for the time being, trying to get the heals down but not able to do so. Etho still looking for any sort of angle that he can to pop his ult. He's going to pop the Eye of Agamotto, but it just wasn't there in time. Lord is just sitting on the payload waiting to stall as much time as possible. But although they were able to stall 2 minutes, which definitely is big in the great scheme of things, they're unfortunately going to have to give up the point this time around. Two picks down on the initial choke for the side of UAA, and it just unfortunately isn't looking very too high and mighty for them until they're able to respond with 2 of their own. They're able to push through and hold this point right on the corner here. Lord's going to have to get some healing down, and it looks like Etho actually swapped to a DPS as the Phoenix ult is going to come through and take out the Jeff. That's going to be huge healer down for the remaining members of NMT. And it looks like Etho had enough of playing tank, and he's taking matters into his own hands. He has the again waiting ready for him to activate at any time as he gets the pick onto the Luna Snow. Waiting, lying and waiting. The only pick and the only ult from the side of NMT is going to be that Magneto ult. And it's going to be Squirrel Girl that takes that down and takes care of them. Camping this doorway with only 2 minutes remaining is going to be UAA waiting, lying, just waiting for the right moment to strike. Is going to be Etho just dealing a ton of damage. And I think they're completely fine. As we saw last time around on the last map, it was Etho being the one that was the solo tank, but this time around he said, Lord, you got it, you can deal with it, I am going to be joining the DPS side of things. Unfortunately, wasn't able to hit the grab, and that's going to deal a lot of damage towards the remaining members of UAA. Magneto Ball is going to come through, but is not going to deal the damage needed. Low Taper Fade is able to respawn the remaining members, though. Etho gets a pick, and that's going to be 3 members respawned in. Make that 4 with the Etho coming back alive. Huge ult from the side of our Adam Warlock. But it was all for naught. Trying to keep the remaining members alive. It's going to be 1 minute remaining with 40 meters, 45 meters and ticking. UAA with only 60 seconds remaining have to hold the tide. And have to hold New Mexico Tech from pushing any further. Really hardly any ults activated. It's going to be Robot Simp with a nice cloak to keep the team alive for the most part. But he's probably going to have to activate the ult of his own if he wants to keep the remaining team alive, because UAA is falling now. Star Chicken is able to get a pick before falling on his own, but the Psylocke is able to get more picks. Luna Snow ult is going to come through, but that Phoenix ult is going to do even more damage. And with only 24 seconds left, there really isn't anyone to touch. This looks like a 3 checkpoint half for NMT. I really would have wondered what would have happened if Cloak used the ult there, but they might have just elected to save for the next half. I actually don't think that's how it works in this game mode, actually, in Convoy. So definitely very confusing, and things probably were just extremely high stress situation, which in these types of moments definitely could make sense. These are these players' first official matches, minus the placement tournament, so we definitely could see things pan out a little bit differently going forward. The 17 seconds left remaining, though, so UAA was at least able to hold on for the most part. But it looks like, unfortunately, Etho's not going to be able to join the party up there. And he's going to have to look down from the ground. Bucky the Soldier, with not many friends. Very sad day for the Winter Soldier, but not a sad day for Etho, as he's been having a very great series so far after joining in on map 2. And UAA is not holding back on this W key. This map must be attacker favored or something. Unfortunately, Lord, the Tree of Groot not able to hop up. But they are just extremely strong on this attack. Nice wall from the side of Lord to slow down this Doctor Strange even more. Psylocke on the back end. Etho is just in there dealing as much damage as possible as they're able to take out the Phoenix that was on the back end. But this Psylocke is definitely just causing a ruckus in the back line. Psylocke being one of those characters that that NMT protected going into the pick and ban phase, and now in the last remaining seconds they're going to go through and try to stall this point for the time being. But a lot of the damage is leaning straight in towards UAA's favor. NMT is going to lose their Psylocke and their Jeff and Doctor Strange, but with only one trade, Star Chicken's going to cut the numbers even more in favor of his own team, and they're going to take that first point with force even faster than NMT did the first time around. Now looking at the ult bank, Lord definitely looking to utilize his ultimate here, as he does have both tanks both in his line of sights, just looking for a little bit more of a clump that he could utilize to get the most value from his ultimate. I'm still waiting to hear Etho say again. That would just be the highlight of my day. A lot of ultimates online for both sides of the teams is just who is going to utilize them first and who's going to use the most. Armed and Dangerous comes through alongside the Etho ult, but the Eye of Agamotto, oh my goodness, from the depths of NMT, that was a 6-man eye, and holy, I'm at a loss of words. What a play from Typher on NMT. you got to give credit where credit is due, and holy was it due there. It felt like the rent was due for NMT there. Down in the series 2-0, and he pulls an ult like that out of his pockets. Extremely strong from the Doctor Strange there. But now it's up to UAA to respond here with 4 ultimates in their pockets still. They only utilized 2 when they died there, so very good from them to keep their bank very safe and secure. It's going to be Mantis to pop the first ult alongside to match the Psy ult. So now going forward, it's going to be 3 picks from the side, make that 4 of UAA, and they're able to just absolutely swarm and clobber the side of NMT as they take their deals all the way to the front gates. Lying and waiting for the side of this corner here. They're just going to wait, install as long as possible as they can, but that group wall is going to deny them any sort of chances that they have. And despite a Doctor Strange portal, it's going to be them, the UAA, that goes into it. They have a lot of utility and a lot of ults here if they want to push more, and Etho is just going crazy, gets a double kill, and he is really not hopping back on tank. I have no clue what happened to this man or what was going on tank, but he just wanted to hop on DPS, and he is making a statement. Sitting at 18-9, doing a ton of damage for UAA. And this is already looking like a lot of time for UAA to get past the 17 seconds that NMT has set for them. A lot of utility, a lot of grouping up here, and UAA is gonna have to fall back just for the time being. Phoenix ult is going to come through. It's not going to find any picks, but deals quite a bit of damage needed just for UAA to regroup. They do have a ton of ults to respond to this, however. They could do the Groot and Winter Soldier combination again. Ashe is going to take a ton of damage before backing up and getting a ton of heals. Supports from UAA are popping off. Agamotto, unfortunately, is going to pop, and that's going to be too many members of UAA falling with only 3 remaining. And a 3-for-3 trade in ults, being Luna Snow and the 2 tanks versus our 2 tanks and Etho and the Winter Soldier. I definitely say we won the trade slightly. And now that we're back with our ultimates, we could definitely push back into this with more support, more damage. And this could definitely be a very favorable fight for us if we're able to get the first opening pick. Psylocke ult is going to come into the backline, however, and that's going to hurt the remaining members of our team. Cloak and Dagger, alongside the Mantis, are going to push through. However, with remaining members of our team, that's going to be Phoenix down, and unfortunately, she wasn't able to use her ult. Etho and the DPS are going to be coming back very slowly. And although the Phoenix ult is going to come down once again, she literally just used it, but still has it in her back pocket. The remaining tanks from UAA are doing as much as they can to keep things alive and still chugging and pushing on to this point. They are doing everything that they can to try to get out of the choke that UAA has held for themselves. And with only 2 minutes remaining, UAA is looking to reset, regroup, get their ults back, and hopefully get a nice push here. Jeff does have his ult, and that's going to be both supports from NMT having their ults, so that things could definitely get a little bit dicey if UAA is not careful. Hopefully they've been counting the fact that Jeff has not been using his ult at all this half. So they definitely have to be very careful. Nice Groot ult alongside the Phoenix ult, but it wasn't able to find any kills. It's going to activate the Luna Snow ult, so UAA has to back up and respect this. Lord is going to fall, so that's 1 tank down, and this just looks like another reset from the side of UAA. NMT is doing a great job so far. And now only 45 seconds to match the timing that NMT has set. Or are they going to take it all the way to OT? They still have to, regardless, finish this checkpoint. Eye of Agamotto is going to come through. That stuns 2 of our players. But only Etho is going to fall. Magneto just really needs some heals now, right about now, as he's taking a brunt of the damage from the front line. Phoenix once again has her ult on NMT. That was a character that UAA did protect. but just unfortunately not really working out in their favor. Psylocke ult will come through. Pop is going to be the man to solve, but with only 20 seconds remaining, it doesn't look like they're going to match time. And this looks like it's going to be a very, very close overtime push that UAA has to throw it on here. Jeff ult is going to come through. Doesn't look like he was able to really get anyone but one player. That player is going to come through, and it's going to be Robot Simp actually gets out of dodge, and he's able to push through. 4 seconds remaining. Make that one, make that two, and UAA has to hold on here. It's going to be an overtime push as they try to get this thing down. They have 3 ults remaining with NMT with barely any. It's going to be very close photo finish here. It's all up to just the remaining members of UAA. It's going to be Magneto popping his ult, trying to land it down onto the support, and he's able to find the first pick on a Luna Snow. Make that 2, make that 3 for UAA. And now with all the members just toppling and falling for NMT, UAA at least matches and gets that 3rd checkpoint, and things are going to look good for the next half. Alrighty, here we are, and going straight into overtime. NMT throughout the series has definitely been looking a lot stronger. The first map, they kind of looked just really like the pushovers, but then, you know, second map, they looked a lot stronger, and then this map, I mean, they are putting up a really big fight. Technically in the lead right now with 17 seconds, so would definitely like to see exactly how things go. What I will say, though, is that NMT definitely did better when it came to the 3rd checkpoint, but the 1st and 2nd one was all UAA. And when it comes to overtime, you know, you're not usually pushing all the way to the 3rd point unless you're absolutely steamrolling. And if UAA is able to replicate what they did earlier on, things could definitely look very dangerous for NMT. As I definitely have UAA's bet on any sort of defender's side to hold the line. Comp's not going to be changing too much. It looks like Etho's just going to lead out with this Winter Soldier pick. Tries to pull the Magneto, but is not going to get anything, unfortunately, with the bubble that was activated. Magneto is going to fall, and that's going to be the Punisher turret as well that falls as well. They're going to know that the Phoenix is in, the Psylocke rather, is in the backline, but they have no care about the backline at all. They're saying, the Psylocke, you can do whatever you want in the back. We're just going to murder your entire front line, and they do just that. This is what I was talking about with UAA. They do a great job at these first 2 points, and they did a lot faster than NMT did. Lord's gonna have to do some DIY work a little bit quicker if he wants to try to get this first point down. And this is a beautiful wall for the side of Lord as they take down 3. That's gonna be the Jeff as well going down, and that's first checkpoint, but now it's overtime. So every moment going on forward, they have to stay on the point. Going to be Etho taking out the Psylocke. What a 1v1 duel from Etho against a character that is extremely mobile. But Etho shutting that character down, putting them back in the spawn room, gives us so much room and so much focus towards the front lines so that we don't even have to care about the back. And things could definitely look up for us. Here we are making a statement onto this front line. Looks like NMT is going to force their choke into the very back lines, playing off of that Punisher ult, or the Punisher turret rather, and the ult is online for Punisher, but we have a ton of ults looking great for the side of UAA. Definitely could see a little bit of a combination between Groot and Winter Soldier here, as we've seen plenty of times in the past. Ian and Etho tagging teaming that Psylocke and just absolutely taking her out. It's gonna be the Armed and Dangerous from the Winter Soldier. Gets a nice hit onto the remaining members, but not able to deal any sort of the final blow. Overtime is ticking down, so UAA has to stay on this point now, but the time is not moving and the time is not ticking, unfortunately. And because the payload wasn't moving, they unfortunately are going to stick it there and keep it there. And here we go now. A great push from the side of UAA, and I have full faith in our defense to hold the line to keep things even stronger. Like I said earlier, they've been doing just such a good job at keeping the first 2 checkpoints in check. And last time around, they did a really good job as well. So despite the 17-second time difference, I doubt that it's going to make that much of a difference. And I have full faith that we'll be able to take this map. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Are we going to see a map 4, or are UAA going to win this in a swift 3-0? It's time to find out, ladies and gents. Looks like a little bit of a DPS swap from the side of NMT. It's going to be going Wolverine this time. Was a character that we were banning quite a bit in the previous maps, so definitely could be a little bit interesting to see how this character plays out going forward. Psylocke is going to dash onto this front line, but Etho is going to see that and take care of it as quick as possible. Sees the Wolverine, that anti-tank character. It definitely could be a little bit of a nuisance as he just absolutely take Ashes and Flames and takes him all the way to Florida. And unfortunately, he's going to pay for that. Highly unfortunate. They have to keep Lord alive here. They have to keep him. All heals have to be on him right now. They're definitely holding a lot stronger than they did the previous time around. But if Ashes and Flames is not able to get back in time, then things could definitely look very dangerous from the side of UAA. A lot of damage is going through, and Etho's going to have to try to 1v1 duel this Psylocke once again, but we've seen him win those plenty of times. Lord is going to have his ultimate online, and Magneto was able to get back into the fray of things. But Robot Sim is going to be the first pick down. That's a lot of heals that aren't going to be available. But Mantis pops her ult very early. Very good ult usage from the side of UAA as the Punisher ult and the Eye of Agamotto from the side of NMT was able to be popped. But that's 2 of our tanks going down as the Mantis ult fades. And although it's overtime, UAA still technically were able to get the point faster than NMT did. So now, with overtime ticking down, definitely going to be a little bit scary here. The ults just have to build up. We have Phoenix ult and 3 other ults remaining. That combo between Groot and Etho. Lord and Etho have been doing a very good job at comboing that, but their ult sides from NMT are definitely nothing to scoff at either. Your 2 main ones being the Punisher and Doctor Strange, however, are utilized, so it's going to be a lot of those. It's going to be a lot of relying on your support ults of Luna Snow. I would say right now UA has to hurry up and draw out that ult, but what a beautiful pick from the side of Etho. Just snipes out the Psylocke, and that's gonna be the first opener. But Lord gets absolutely pelted down from the side of Punisher, and oh no, UA is all of a sudden just falling down from this Wolverine pick. And wow, we might just be going to a map 4, ladies and gents, as UAA have no ability to get back in time, and not even the portal will save us. Looks like, ladies and gentlemen, NMT strike back with a extremely close map 3. And we'll be seeing you for a map 4 scenario. Highly unfortunate for UAA, but still, we have a long series ahead of us. And we'll see you in map 4. welcome back to map number 4. A little bit of a longer intermission. Apologies for that. Thank you so much for waiting, and we hope that you are still here and ready for the games. But we had a couple of subs being swapped out, hence why it took just a little bit longer. I don't really remember too well the members of NMT, but one of them definitely subbed out. I just don't know which one. For the side of UAA, though, we got Demon King back in the game. So definitely excited to see that. I saw him in the chat earlier supporting his team, but now he's going to be called up into the big leagues. I believe he replaced... Who did he replace? Ian. Okay, so he replaced Ian going into map number 4. And it looks like, based on the bans, this is pretty basic stuff. Spider-Man this time around is going to get banned, but the thing is, the thing is, the thing is here, and you already have a Black Panther, and when you give Demon King Black Panther, it is wraps, ladies and gents. Let me tell you. So definitely going to be excited to see this one. It's going to be a very exciting game, and I'm super excited to see how this all pans out. Phoenix is going to be banned. Now that Ian's gone, you can actually confidently ban Phoenix, and both teams won't be having the ability to use it. While Doctor Strange, I actually believe we won these bans outright. All these bans just favor us, and picks and saves favor us so well. I mean, although you have Johnny Storm and you're losing the Spider-Man, you still have the Black Panther pocket pick that we saved. They ended up saving Doctor Strange, which is a huge pick from us, but here's the thing. It's definitely going to be exciting to see how this map turns out. Emma Frost is back on the board. We haven't seen her in a couple of rounds, so super exciting to see her back in the fray. Let's see how things kind of turn out from then on. Demon King reprising his role onto the Black Panther. Hopefully he's nice and warmed up for this match. And let's see how things go, ladies and gentlemen. Battle's going to start off. This is a domination map. Being for the first point. It's going to look like no team up, unfortunately, without that Johnny Storm being banned from NMT. Things are going to be a little bit harder now. The Thing is going to rush in there, Etho, just garnering a lot of the damage as Emma Frost is punching them into as well. Emma Frost and the Thing just being two big brawly tanks that are just not nice to get in front of and get close to, but kind of saves NMT a little bit as they do have a very pokey long range comp, so it's definitely going to make it a little bit harder for the side of UAA to really get in front of their face as the Namor, Hella, and even Rocket Raccoon just keeps them so far away. And because of this little difference in distance of a comp, it makes UAA a little bit unfortunate here, and it makes it a lot harder for Demon King to have any sort of success in the backlines, as that Namor definitely chunks down a lot of what he wants to do in the backlines. Magic being caught on the top lines. Definitely going to give them a lot of information here. Looks like we had a couple of swaps. Lord onto the Bucky. Robot Simp is unfortunately going to die, but we still have Star Chicken on the Doctor Strange. A bunch of picks are going to be going through. That's the Namor ult that's going to just absolutely thwart any sort of plans UA had here. And right then and there, I mean, that's just going to end the first push. Now going in, we have quite a bit of ults here. Demon King looking to try to find any sort of angle that he can, but it's definitely a lot harder this time around without any sort of luck, but it doesn't matter. He's able to dive into the back lines. He's able to deal a lot of damage and pick up the Invisible Woman as well as the magic. Hell Unleash is going to come up on the top side of the point. That's going to deal a ton of damage, but that Doctor Strange is all that is left here. Black Panther climbing up onto the pole, and he's able to not only secure the point for the side of UAA, but also take down the rest of NMT with it. Now climbing up the percentages of the ranks is going to be UAA nearly a little bit over halfway of what they need to match NMT here, and halfway overall to that 100%. Namor kind of senses that the Black Panther is nearby, and that Rocket Raccoon just gets absolutely slammed in that corridor there. Lord able to also follow it up with a pick of their own, and these are some really good picks from the DPS of UAA holding down the line. Ooh, yikes. A little unfortunate there for Demon King as he's going to bite the bullet. Catches just 3 daggers to the side of his head, and that could be the opener that NMT need, as Namor also gets a little bit ratty on the top left of things. And this is that long range that we were talking about earlier when it comes to NMT's comp. This long range for them is just too dangerous, but Demon King, with the speed that he has, he's able to get back into the fight. They do lose their 2 supports, though, so they have to respect this push, and they are going to be forced to push back just a tad bit. Demon King is able to get out just in time, though, but the time is ticking, and wow, he actually catches a spear. I don't believe anybody might be there to touch, however. But it looks like they were able to at least get a portal in. Very nice play from Etho. He's going to have to hold his shield up as much as possible, but no heals are really inbound for him to utilize anything. Black Panther only is going to come through, however, and him and Robot Sim are able to get a kill. They're able to look for any sort of more picks as the time is ticking, and they're able to secure the point. They're still looking, and they only have a couple more members remaining as this Doctor Strange from their side is able to get one, but he dashes through the Rocket Raccoon and claws up the Doctor Strange. And all of a sudden, the tides have turned, and they're flowing straight into the Sea Wolves' laps. And that's map 1 for this domination as we go on to the frozen airfield. Very well played from the side of UAA for the most part. And look at all those stickers that we see from the team. Match and series point once again. We saw UAA at this point very early on. So now it's time to see if they can finally do what they weren't able to do last map with this new roster look. With Demon King on the team, let's see if they're able to bring this victory into their favor. Ladies and gentlemen, frozen airfield, let's get things started. That's going to be the Namor ult, and Demon King's just not able to get the dash online. They're still able to get the trade from Ashes and Flames, and that's going to be the res coming in from Namor coming through alongside helping him out with the ult. Hello is able to come through, and that's going to take out a big portion of the remaining members. Magic ult, rather, sorry. And that is just too much damage that UA is not able to field at the moment. And unfortunately, because of this, they're forced to back off. Here we go, UAA entering on extremely fast onto the point. The BP of Demon King unable to find any sort of picks, but he does do a lot of damage. Dodges the Eye of Agamotto as it's only able to stun the Emma Frost, and it wasn't able to do as much damage as intended, but the Hela from above unfortunately just deals too much damage. I mean, you see her on the other side. She is the ace, 21-2. It is just highly unfortunate stuff. It's going to be a portal that comes through from the side of UAA. However, it looks like NMT is no stranger to those plays, and they are able to take out Robot Simp. That's going to be one support down, and despite Lord up here dealing a ton of damage, he's just unable to find any sort of pick possible, and he's going to die immediately because of it. Black Panther ult comes through, and while he's able to do a ton of damage, resetting his dashes, it is just not really enough to be able to take point here before the overtime comes through. They're still looking for these remaining members. Namor and Rocket Raccoon are just doing so much to stall. Yeah, and UAA was unable to get the point before it turned into overtime. So from here on out, it's really do or die. Nice little angle here from Demon King to get some more information. Trying to look and dive into the back line, but NMT have been doing a really good job so far at really just sticking together and making sure that like they can play around these Namor turrets. But Demon King, when he finds those players, it is just so difficult to get away that I have full confidence that he's able to try and find any sort of opening. Lord looks like he swapped towards the Iron Man, but unfortunately just with those Namor turrets, he's just not really able to find exactly what he wants. Quick and easy trade that comes through as the Namor and Rocket Raccoon that were dealing a lot of damage earlier are going to fall. So there's some really good early picks, but that's going to be the Emma Frost down. Heals were not able to come through. Deathchild is going to come through from the other enemy magic, but the Invisible Woman ult is going to come through. So that makes things a little bit easier for the side of UAA to stay alive a bit longer. But the Hela from above, alongside that Rocket Raccoon ult, is just utilizing so many ults. And honestly, if UAA even lose this, going into the next map here, with the lack of the amount of ults that NMT just used, wow, this would be a ballsy ultimate. Yeah, I don't think they're able to touch. Extremely close, but not close enough. All right, map 3 it is. All to decide of whether or not we go to a map 5. It's all up to UAA here. We're going to be seeing a Magneto, Emma Frost, Star Chicken back on the Bucky alongside Demon King. So a little bit of a swap in who plays DPS or not. But Demon King's still looking strong on this Black Panther character. Catches the Rocket Raccoon off guard, forces him off the height, but Etho unfortunately is going to fall. Still, supports are keeping their team alive for the time being. Not able to find the Namor before he gets healed back to 100. and that's going to be the Black Panther ult. He's going to dive through, look for all the dashes possible. He's able to get one, looks for the next. He's able to get the second off the help of the another invisible woman, and he just keeps on clawing through. He's able to get the third of Namor. There it is, and UAA secures the point for the time being, and they're looking to extend their lead a bit further. Here comes the first set of pushes. Etho just looking for any sort of ratty players that have been going through for the side of NMT. As we've seen that in the past, Demon King gets a little bit overzealous. Unfortunately, is going to fall. But lucky for the Namor having the shield there. He's able to get out of dodge. Two players from the side of UAA are going to fall, however, unfortunately. And despite a really good stall, that is going to be the point for NMT, and a little unfortunate because they were only able to use, I mean, they did pull both support ults in that push, but definitely a third ult would have been nice to pull given our ult bank being a tad bit low. So would love to see a couple of ults that come through. It looks like the Robot Simp is going to bring his ult through with the party, and followed up by Demon King. Very nice dive on that end, and that's going to be 3 players down from the side of NMT. They're still looking for more as they secure the point. Hella's ult is still doing a ton of damage, and Demon King's going to fall because of it. Namor and is still alive, still placing those turrets down, and Ashes is still able to get out of the fray for the time being, and that's going to be the time ticking down. 10% remaining for UAA to get out of what was a really close game for the end tail of it. The beginning looked beautiful for the most part, but the end has just been super shaky, and now we're gonna see exactly just that. Agamotto comes through, but the invisible woman ult from Low Taper Fade is able to save them for the meantime. Demon King comes through, and he has his ult to utilize, but they're still just getting the kills regardless. Namor is going to come through, and that takes out 2, but Ashes is able to get 2 of his own. That's gonna be the Hella that's able to come through, and Emma Frost ult is able to come through as well. Star Chicken still trying to do as much damage as possible, even though that Demon King is down. He's able to take the spotlight for his own, and UAA Esports, the Marvel Rivals team that we are finally fielding for the first time in any CC competition that they host it. We find ourselves up 1-0 this season with a huge win over NMT and a nice MVP from Ashes and Flames. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the first win of the season for Marvel Rivals and the first game of the season as well. Count us undefeated. We'll see you guys tomorrow for our streams with Rainbow Six Siege and Rocket League. If you're in person as well, we'll be hosting a live watch party outside of our UAA Esports Lounge. We hope to see you there with a bunch of pizza, and it's excited. Have a good night, ladies and gentlemen. That's a 3-1 victory over NMT Miners, New Mexico Tech. It's been well. Take it easy, everyone.